every man of God must remain focused in the ministry.
A pastor needs prayer, care, love, and encouragement.
You have to have a mentor, someone you can be able to obey, to love, to submit to.
What these pastors and leaders should do to create the right culture.
The most powerful thing a pastor can do to his people is teach them. Being accountable to an authority is not weakness, it's strength.
On Encourage a Pastor, we share real and authentic conversations that intend to give solutions to a pastor.
If there's a minister out there are character issues, don't push. Don't keep on ministering. You won't be fruitful.
In the body of Christ, certain wives have given up because probably they feel they haven't gotten the right leadership from their own husbands.
We need to learn to know our husbands after the Spirit.
I'm telling you, don't quit.
Catch Encourage a Pastor every Saturday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
All right, good evening, good afternoon. Maybe some of you are watching in the afternoon, some in the morning. Wherever you're watching from, welcome to another episode of the GG Report. I'm your host, Godfrey Gichuki, and I'm glad that you tuned in. Welcome and join us for an amazing conversation. I always tell you that the GG Report is a platform for big, bold, and honest conversation. Today we're going to have a very honest conversation, and this is a conversation that has to do with parents and students, and we will be talking about the teacher strike. So that is the teacher strike and its impact on both the student and parents. That's what we'll be talking about. I have with me some wonderful guests. These are people you want to hear from. These are very critical stakeholders in the education sector. So please remember to share and make sure if you've you put your comments on the social media platforms, we'll be able to share and read your comments. And the question is, how have you been affected by the teachers strike and the change of dates? Maybe you're a parent, your son just went back to school. Some of you, I know some parents, their children went to school and then came back home, and now you had to send them again this week. So there's been quite a bit of confusion, and the question is, what's going on? How is that affecting the students themselves and the teachers? That's the gist of our conversation. So let me begin by asking my guests here to introduce themselves. I have with me on the set Mr. Jasper Omwega. He's the chairman of the National Parents Association Nairobi County unit, and he's the chair right on my extreme left. So we start with you, Mr. Omwega. Please look at that camera and introduce yourself and welcome our viewers.
Viewers, welcome wherever you are watching from, and at any time, whether morning, afternoon, or evening, or night. We welcome you. I'm Jasper Morara Omwega, the Chairman, National Parents Association, Nairobi County. And we are here, and I'm also sitting in the County Education Board as a member representing the parents' view in that. First and foremost, I would like to pass my condolences to the 17 pupils who died in Hillside and Darasha Academy in Kieni, Nyeri County. And I wish those who are hospitalized, the 14, speed recovery, and I wish the parents to be comforted by God. Thank you and most welcome.
Asante sana. Thank you so much, Jasper, for being here on the set. Next to Jasper is one Charles Mochoche. Charles Mochoche. He's the treasurer of the NPA, National Parents Association, Nairobi County. So, Mochoche, welcome the viewers and introduce yourself a little bit more.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know everybody is somewhere where is watching us. My name is Charles Mochoche. I'm the treasurer of Nairobi County.
Wonderful. Karibu sana, Charles.
Thank
we are very happy to have you here. I know you are a veteran teacher, and yes, now you are on the parent side of things. So you're going to be telling us your experiences, yes, and you have also been in the union in the past.
Yes.
So you bring in a lot of wonderful experience. And our own one and only lady on the set here, Lillian Onyango, you're the secretary of the NPA Nairobi County. Welcome. Thank you. Introduce yourself and welcome our viewers.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers. My name is Lillian Onyango. I'm the secretary of National Parents Association, Nairobi County.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
I'm very happy to have you, Lillian, here. And I want to tell you, viewers, these wonderful gentlemen and ladies are very hardworking people. They have just come from the Kenya Curriculum Development. There was a conference there. Mr. Charles Mochoche and Lillian and chairman, they have been involved in in the background. They are in all these associations and boards because they represent parents' interests, the parents of teachers, so parents of these learners, the students. So let's start with so that we can understand, we can lay the background. Let's start by talking about the National Parents Association. Jasper, you are the chairman of the county branch, the Nairobi County. So I think you can give us a bit of background and the background to NPA, the National Parents Association, and where you come from and where you are right now as an association.
Thank you, viewers. This journey started way back 2013 when the then president, the Minister of Education, the late Mtura Kronso, enacted the report that was done earlier on the Parents Association, and actually that gave birth to the Basic Education Act 2013. And in section 55 is actually talks about every public school will have a Parents Association, and that is how it came into being. And in 2016, the then Minister Dr. Fred Matiang'i actually conducted an election. It started right from the schools. We went all the way to the sub-county, the county level, and we had delegates at the national level where we did an election in 2016 in the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development. After that, we inaugurated an office that has been working towards the welfare of the parents and welfare of the children. They talk about the children, looking at their welfare, looking at their discipline, and representing them in all spectrum of education, and to ensure that the education, the quality, accessibility, and the aspect of getting to ensure that the learners are getting the best. So it is important that is where we started from, and we have been moving, and we have been doing a lot of sensitization, a lot of advocacy, and a lot of aspect of resource mobilization to ensure that our schools are running effectively and efficiently. We actually represent the parents in every forum where we are actually getting. As you've been told, we are looking not only at the able children. We are also looking at those special needs children, because for the last 2 days we've been having a workshop on assistive devices and technology that are being used and learning material that are used for the purpose of ensuring that those learners, we have inclusive education. The welfare of them are taken care of, the funding, and we are actually a team that is ensuring that our teachers, that we have a relationship between the teachers, the parents, and the learner is not actually gotten off guard. We are a very key stakeholder, as actually mentioned, and the ministry actually understands our role. That's why our voice should be heard and listened to carefully, because without us, education cannot be effectively done, because we play a critical role of ensuring that our kids are in school, we pay for them the school fees, we provide them the necessary equipment, and we support the infrastructure development of our schools.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jasper. You have laid it out very clearly. So let's come to, you know, Bwana Treasurer is here and the Secretary. So Charles, you've been involved in the Parents Association in Nairobi County.
Yes.
And as a treasurer. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the Nairobi County. What are some of the issues you've been dealing with lately? Of course, Bwana Jasper has laid out the background. So some of the, how is Nairobi County National Parents Association unit doing currently?
Nairobi County is doing very well, because there is a time when COVID came in and dismantled a number of plans that we had previously.
Okay.
But now we have come back on board. We are trying to lay a system where we have the sub-county chairs,
okay,
who we have trained throughout the county, and we want them to assist us to make sure that each school is recognized.
Okay.
That's one. Number two, we don't have funds running the Nairobi County or in the national level. We are laying a system where we would like maybe some contributions which can help us to move to other places, assist parents one way or another in running this office. Therefore, we are on the process, and we shall include all other counties. They will follow what we have. We are ahead of them.
Okay.
We called all other chairmen, a few chairmen were sampled to see what Nairobi County is doing.
Okay.
And for sure, we are quite ahead. Like today, the last 2 days, we had attended the workshop at KISE, Kenya Institute of Special Education. We were also looking at the learners at the special facilities, and they also have gadgets which will help them to learn, and we have learned quite a lot from them, because we have been having very good facilitators and people who are really affected.
Okay.
So we do understand a parent who has a child with either disabilities in terms of either talking, physical, and we know now how we can be able to advise the parents in those various institutions, and it was really touching many of us.
Okay.
If you don't have a child of that kind, you will never know. And some of us, we have been meeting some of these parents, and it's very expensive, but the government is doing quite a lot. Like them, they get full scholarships.
Okay.
Once they have come out of the primary schools or secondary schools, they get very good scholarships, which enable them to reach some places where some are.
Okay.
And they are quite learned.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you know, Mr. Mochoche, was you actually worked and taught at Kenya School.
Kabete National Polytechnic.
Kabete National Polytechnic. You also worked in the
current technical training institute for the deaf.
Yeah, current technical training institute for the deaf. Yes. And you know how to use sign language.
Yeah,
so
we used to do a lot of sign language to make us study. So we said sign language, and my name was then. That's my sign name.
Wonderful, wonderful. Lillian, as a secretary, as a secretary of the county, the National Parents Association, you are anaitwaje? Kwa Kiswahili natafuta hiyo jina mwandishi katibu mwandishi.
Yes.
So tell us about your role and in the county and how you're doing generally. Are you happy? Is the county parents association doing well? And what are some of the things that you see you've been able to accomplish?
Okay, what I can say is that we have accomplished a lot. And especially where there's a lot of work is looking for donors to support the Parents Association.
Okay.
Because all the parents, we have to move together.
Okay.
We have to be at par. And these parents have to be sensitized, they have to be empowered, and then they have to be engaged in schools where their children are.
Okay.
And we've done quite a lot. And especially on the part of getting the donors.
Right.
And the donors we've worked with so far until to date, they have been fantastic.
Okay.
They have never limited us, and I'm happy that the Nairobi County Parents Association,
yes,
now they have been sensitized.
Okay.
What we are looking for is to find how we can empower them now and engage them in the schools.
Okay.
And due to the economy, it has made some work, some are not working, some we are still in negotiations and all that. But what I can say is that I'm proud of our parents in Nairobi, the PAs in all our public schools in Nairobi. They are very fantastic, very cooperative and supportive.
Okay.
And I'm happy that when we called for a dialogue, a meeting that we had, they all turned up.
Okay.
And the support was immense because even the donors, the few ones who were there who supported us, were really impressed because I think they thought maybe only a few will turn up.
Okay.
But they had a shock because everybody turned up, all the schools were presented.
Okay.
Yes. So what I'd really say is that we are still negotiating. We are looking for partners. We can always partner with the Parents Association so that we can make Nairobi different.
Okay.
So that we make education in Nairobi work and we make the National Parents Association tick. Because if we don't do it,
yes,
then why are we called the Parents Association?
Wonderful.
Yes.
I love that, Lillian. I love the fact that I mean, the statutes that were created in 2013, you know, as we transition to the new dispensation, the new constitution,
yes,
and the parent association were actually embedded in the law, and so each school is supposed to have a parent association,
yes,
and then now, and that should be organized at the county level or sub-county, then county level, and then at the national level, so that stakeholders, the parents who are critical stakeholders, and that's why we are having this conversation. Parents who are critical stakeholders in the education can actually be involved in decision making.
Yes.
Now, and it is the reason why now we're having this conversation and asking, you know, addressing ourselves to the issue, which is what I want us to come to. The fact that, you know, we've just had a very a strike, a teacher strike.
Yes.
These teachers strikes have been with us for for ages.
Yes.
Well, and teachers have a right to formulate and advocate for their welfare. As you know, as civil servants and also as people who provide critical service to teach our students, our children.
Yes.
So the question I have is, from where you sitting as an parents association, talk about the strike that has just been. Are we done? Is it over? Have matters been concluded? I know you are not yourselves the teachers, but you are stakeholders. So I'm sure you have been following the conversation, the argument, what Kupete is saying, what Nati is saying, and the others. Now I hear there is the Women Teachers Association, very, very strong association. So where we are right now, where are we? Okay, and we can start with the Nairobi chair. Jasper.
Thank you. This is actually a ceasefire that was reached at a decision that was reached to give our students time to read for the exam, to revise for the exam, because they have an exam coming up the next few days, because that's why it was agreed and reached. But for a fact, it is important that we know there are some grievances that are very grave, and we support them. Like now, we want more teachers for our kids. We want these teachers to be enough to have a good combination. If I can touch slightly on the junior secondary teachers, we are having teachers, some of them who do not have the right combination of the subjects that they are actually covering.
Okay.
They are actually given, you have 5 teachers, but you find that they're teaching language, they cannot teach performing arts, they cannot teach PE, they cannot teach music, among others. That's why we need to have the right teachers being employed. That one we support. But at the same time, we need also the teachers at some point, as much as we support them to be given their remuneration in tandem with what they are actually doing, they should also at some point put this kid at the forefront. Because the voice of this kid is not heard. The voice of the parent is not heard, because when the strike is there, we see the strike is between the TSC and the teachers. So the students and the parent is left here hanging.
Yes.
And it has really affected them. It has affected them in terms of their performance, because even the syllabus coverage will not be actually done on time, so that they are actually getting affected. So we want to actually talk to our parents right from the class, because we have representative at the stream level. Then at the school we have the executive that comes up. So we need to urge them that they need to put an effort to motivate and talk to our students. At the same time, we need to have a very serious conversation going forward. We need the teachers to involve the parents in all their issues, because without our support, some of these things will not be able. And I know for a fact, most of our teachers, if not all, are actually parents. So they are first parents before they are actually teachers.
Actually, speaking about I like what you are describing, that what we have is a ceasefire. Bwana Charles, what we have is a ceasefire. So the war is not over. The various parties have not laid down their arms. They have just stopped firing.
Yes.
But maybe they are re-strategizing. So how do you see this strike, evolving?
The strike for teachers will never end until the Teacher Service Commission certifies all the CBAs that they have been giving.
Okay.
You know, the Teacher Service Commission negotiates a CBA. It implements, the teachers feel like they are being cheated because they implement part 1, then they don't want to implement part 2. So
Okay.
they get agitated.
All right.
And when they get agitated, they get to the streets, the impact on parents, as parents, we find that our children have been left.
Yes.
There is a bit of indiscipline when they are not taken care of. You will find that parents have spent money to send them to school, then they are coming back home, then sometimes they don't reach home. And when the ceasefire came, there are some parents who are now taking children to school. Some of them got accidents, which they could have not even gotten. That is the impact that we are really seriously feeling for our fellow parents, and we say pole sana for those ones who got accidents, and we feel for them, and not only feeling, we empathize. You know, there's a difference between sympathy and empathize.
Yes.
We empathize with them, and we ask them to take heart and let the government seriously, through the Teacher Service Commission, try this ceasefire not to be a continuous ceasefire, but they implement what they have promised the teachers, so that the teachers are satisfied and they deal with our children nicely.
Yeah. Actually, Charles, you know, when you talk about CBA, a lot of people don't understand. You know, what is? You know, that's a technical term. I know it's collective bargaining agreement. Maybe you can just tell our viewers, when you talk about CBA, we are talking about a collective bargaining.
CBA is a collective bargaining system which is introduced in the unions.
Yes.
Where take it or leave it.
Okay.
Then when you agree on both sides,
Yes.
it is signed in court.
Okay.
And that is why teachers become very serious, because they know this one was put in a court order.
Before a judge of
before
a judge.
So they say we cannot leave it because they took it.
Yes.
So that collective bargaining agreement is what at many times Teacher Service Commission try to forget, like they agreed with the teachers.
Okay. So I think our viewers should be satisfied that teachers, when they negotiate hard.
Yes.
And the matters are always agreed at a very high level before a judge. And so if you don't honor the teacher's side, then the teachers get very unhappy and very, very, very angry. And when you see teachers actually calling for a strike, it's actually for a reason, because there is a very clear agreement on that. So, and that's really the background to the current scenario we have. So, Madam Lillian,
Yes.
maybe you are also, maybe you tell us whether you have also been a parent, I mean a teacher, like these two gentlemen. I think, I don't know whether Jasper, you were a teacher? He is
I taught for 38 years.
Yeah, and Lillian, did you teach?
No.
Or you have
No,
not taught?
yes.
But you start for parents?
Yes.
Jasper, have you been a teacher, by the way?
I've been a teacher.
Yeah.
I was teaching in college for
Yes.
about 9 years.
Okay.
And I also come from a family of teachers. My
Wow.
father was a teacher. My brother was a teacher.
Yeah.
The wife was a teacher. My brother was a teacher. The wife was a teacher.
Okay, wonderful.
So all those are teachers.
Yeah. So I think all of us have somebody who is actually teaching. So Lillian.
Yes.
So we want to wrap this issue of. Do you think that teachers' issues have been addressed from where you sit, and is this maybe just a time bomb? And after the exams, maybe you can also describe the idea that sometimes some of these strikes are triggered by the fact that there is an exam round the corner. So teachers want to use that to maximize and push hard and strong. And you can mention about this, the primary examination, the fact that it's an assessment. You mentioned it of the set. So maybe perhaps you can comment on that as we wrap on the issue of where the teachers are right now.
Okay, before I go to the exams, the ones who are sitting for their Form 4 exams, what I can say about the KIPSEA, this is still new, the CBC. It's a good curriculum for our children. And it's now only 2 years since it was implemented.
Okay.
And since it started rolling out in schools. This is the time now our children are going to grade 8.
Okay.
And to me, I feel so sad because the teachers who are supposed to encourage our children to find their skills to be nurtured so that they can find their pathways and join the other schools or the senior schools where they have to go and learn what they want to learn. And when you look at the teachers who are really affected are the JSS teachers.
Okay.
These are people who have gone to school. They have graduated. They have experience. They have been journeying with these children. Sometimes the salaries delay. They are not on permanent basis, but when you go to schools, you see how much they have been giving their all.
Okay.
You know? And if the government cannot pay them their salary, saying they still don't have money, and children are involved, why can't they involve the parents?
Okay.
They come up with a solution to see some short-term or long-term solution for this.
Yes.
So that this curriculum that was introduced, the CBC, it has to touch base. You see, like now, these children have been hanging around when the teachers were on strike. Who was teaching them?
Okay.
And yet they are supposed to start the assessment. And you know, with the assessment, this child needs the teacher
All right.
more than any other person to correct them or to take them to the next level, to transit to the next class.
Okay.
Now it's worrying because you see, like now they're in grade 8. The strikes have started with the mostly affected at the junior school.
Okay.
And then yet we are still having the grade 9. The grade 9, we are still not sure whether it will be domiciled in the primary school or it will be taken to the secondary school because the classes are not enough. So there's a problem.
Okay.
For me, as a parent, I'll just urge the government. This is playing with our children's education. And you know, without education, you've not done anything.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. So yes, I think we agree that there has been the strikes. Strikes actually the most affected, stakeholder.
Yeah.
The students and the parents.
Yes.
Who actually contribute so much, immensely. So we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we return to this conversation and ask ourselves, what's the way forward? We have seen this week some of the students going back to school, and some had gone the previous week, came back, and then they have gone. So it's very, very fluid, but the Parents Association here have a voice, and we're going to be asking them what they think should be done, to kind of like make it much easier for the learning of our students, and also easier for the parents who have actually got to meet the cost of all this back and forth. So don't go away. Let's take a short break. We'll come back to this conversation.
Explore a world of knowledge at Elevation Bookshop. Dive into topics like marriage, money, and spiritual growth with our vast reading materials. But that's not all. We are thrilled to introduce new additions like stationeries, notebooks, modeling clay, dictionaries, pencils, kamusi, and more. And calling all students, gear up for success with our back-to-school items, providing you with everything you need to excel in every subject. At Elevation Bookshop, we're here to assist you in finding the perfect resources for your journey. Do you have specific preferences or looking for something special? Visit us at Kenya Cinema Plaza, mezzanine floor, or contact us on 0748 902 225. Elevation Bookshop. Enrich your life.
Welcome back. This is the Gigi Report. We are talking about the teacher strike and its impact on the students or learners and parents. Those are the two stakeholders that really don't get to sit with at the negotiating table when the teachers are negotiating with the commission, the Teacher Service Commission. So they get kind of like ignored or left out, and so I have with me the officials of the Nairobi County National Parents Association, two gentlemen here, and they are telling us about what has been going on, what they have been doing, and I believe that as you follow this conversation, this is a conversation that we need to have. Those of you that are parents, you need to tell us, how has the strike affected your child? How has it affected you as a parent? So please let us know how this has affected you. So before we went to the break, gentlemen, Jasper, you're the chairman. Before we went to the break, we were trying to, we have agreed that, teachers have a case against their employer. I mean, these things are there. They are always constantly there. And sometimes they take advantage of, when it comes to a season where there are exams around the corner, that's when the teachers feel, no, I think if we don't raise our voice now, this is when the stakes are highest. Yeah. So I think we can understand the teachers' timing. But now our concern is the effect on, or the impact on both the learners and the parents. And so that's the big question is, from where you sit as an association, a parents association, what's the impact? How has that really affected learning? And and maybe you can even talk about both the national level and also here in the county. So let's start with you, Chairman.
Thank you. There's something that people don't understand. We are only looking at the Kuppet's nuts strike that will happen just the other day. Last time we had a strike for the junior secondary teachers who actually went on strike, and to date their issues have not really been dealt with. So we feel that there is some laxity in the TSC to deal with these issues, because it is about our learners, not about the TSC or the teachers. We are talking about our learners who needs to be given good time, good guidance, and good teaching. They are not getting it. And we know sometimes teachers will always talk about it and have it at that particular time. But now it is a time that we've come from floods just the other day. So parents have been struggling to pay their school fees. They have been struggling to ensure that their learners are getting the best, the students are getting the best. But now when the strike happens and the learners are actually there, we have had a lot of cases. We have cited cases in Nairobi, in Kiambu, in Machakos, in Makueni, in Kitui, among other counties, where we have actually had students going on strike, on rampage during this particular time. And this is actually eating into the pockets of the parents, because they have to pay for what was damaged. They have to pay the fine. They have to ensure that they are taking back their learners. The learners are losing their study time quite a lot. The parents are losing a lot in terms of funding. And this is actually coming, and there's something that is silently coming in and we don't look at. Mental health of our learners and our parents is really a big issue, that we are getting people into depression, we are getting people stressed, and we are getting people out of their mind, because we are really trying to struggle to ensure that is there. And we are actually going to have a lot of pressure on these learners, especially candidates, for them to perform. And without actually having proper teaching, because they have lost about almost 1.5 weeks. They lost another 2 weeks during the flood time, and during the Gen Z demonstrations, they have actually lost a lot of time. So we find that there is a lot, even this syllabus coverage is not going to be effective. The aspect this will go into affecting the whole aspect of our performance. And if teachers will be going on strike because of what the TS is not actually achieving, then the students will be looking at teaching as a burden. And at the long run, we are not going to have teachers, because after the current teachers are going to retire, who is going to take over from that?
Actually, Charles,
that is a very critical issue.
Yeah, Jasper, you are actually right. So we need to set the right example for our pupils, I mean, for the learners. Yeah. So every strike obviously has a psychological impact on the learners. Even the drama that plays out in the school. Yes. You know, teachers are on a go slow. They come in. Maybe some of them just come in into the school and they are not teaching, and so students don't understand what's going on. So Bwana Charles Mochoche, treasurer. So what's going on? How do we really address these issues? What can parents do? I mean, at this point, because now we have these pupils are being affected. What is your association kind of like telling parents? You know, some of the associations, they call the office. I don't know whether they call you and tell you, no, we are very unhappy. What are you guys doing?
Definitely, the parents are very unhappy.
Okay.
Including us, who are in this county office.
Right.
But we look at the mind of a child. We say a healthy mind can grasp things well. And healthy mind, it brings a lot of evil things. Therefore, as parents, we should always prepare our children to have a healthy mind, because that is the mind that can get skills and knowledge once they are impacted on them. But one thing I feel even the parents know, leadership is a problem. Like leadership in Teacher Service Commission, when you become undermanned, the colonial kind of leadership, where you say, let them do what they want to do, but eventually they have to go back to class. They have even now tried to demoralize the teaching profession. In that any child who is in the school who wants to get to this career, he'll be feeling like, I don't want to be in the streets. That is the mind.
Yes.
And some of these children, we are affecting our own children, like the junior secondary school teachers.
Right.
They were on the street almost the whole time last time. Almost the whole time, and they are the only ones who are teaching the junior secondary. So you can imagine the junior secondary are affected. We parents, we know that children have not gotten the syllabus to place it's supposed to be, but we want to request the leadership, both in TSC and even the Ministry of Education, to look onto this matter so that we don't do ceasefire. But we stop these menace of strikes by engaging our teachers in the right direction. Engaging our teachers, when you promise a child something, for example, in my community where I come from, if the child requests a razor blade, give him. He might cut himself and he will just say, this I cannot. Let us give these teachers what they have bargained rightfully, so that they stop demonstrations, and they have discovered that that's the best way the government and the Teacher Service Commission understands. And we want to look at that in a very serious way. As parents, we need to ask our leadership to come out, not to keep quiet, so that they finish these issues, so that our children will remain healthy and have a healthy mind.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very well put, Charles. You know that yes, indeed, there is need for leadership, and I think that's a very, very important thing. Leadership actually may be the real issue that is missing here. Plus, of course, a kind of colonial mindset. You know, wherever there is an industrial action, you know, people just you know, take their battlegrounds and they stick on their ground, and you just have this back and forth until somebody will compromise, and often at the expense of the welfare of both the students and parents. So, Madam Lillian, I'm sure you've watched some of these strikes play out. You've watched, you know, parents struggle and all that. What do you think is the solution? What can we do to solve this perennial strike? Is there a real simple way, or is just maybe we just wait for the next season when we have an opportunity, when the teachers have an opportunity to push for their agenda? What do you think can be done?
What I think can be done is that we don't have to wait until teachers go to the streets. Because they normally say in advance that if this is not done within this period of time, we are going on strike, or we are not teaching, you know? Already they have sent the message. So I don't understand why the government should wait until the teachers go to the street. There's always a room for dialogue, communication, and agreeing. There's always that room.
Okay.
And also the parents themselves need to be given even a voice to be heard, you know. Even this child whose education is being disrupted needs to be heard.
Okay.
Let the children tell the teachers what they feel when they're on strike. And this one has to be channeled even to the government. I'm sorry to say that when we felt education is coming back to Kenya, where people are concerned, is when we had Dr. Matiang'i, and then we had the late Professor Magoa. These were people who were passionate about schools, about learners. We never heard about teachers' strike until they were out. So we need somebody who is aggressive over like that. Because this child's life depends on you as the Minister of Education.
Right.
This child will tell you, during my time, I couldn't go to school because you never listened to the teachers and I never got my education.
Okay.
I am where I am because of you. Let there be a good report from the learner, from the parent.
Okay.
And as parents also, Parents Association, we are trying to see how we can sensitize our parents around this. When teachers are on strike, when there is a go-slow, as parents, how do we come in? How do we engage ourselves to support our children that we see learning is going on? You see, like now curriculum, the curriculum itself, the children are behind. You find there are some schools where learners are going to school even on Sundays. And yet these kids are supposed to be at home, go to church, rest, you know. This child is in school from Monday to Sunday, honestly, simply to cover the syllabus.
Okay.
Even as parents, we are feeling bad, but it's also, they are going to school during weekend at a cost.
Yes, there is a cost to it.
And
yes.
remember, this parent is also paying the BOM teachers. With some money, she or he has to remit every end of the month. Because this teacher, this cleaner, this clerk, all the people who are working in that school will go home without a salary.
Okay.
So parents have to come in. So it's easier if all this can be done in a way, even to ease the burden on a parent. Because this parent is carrying so much. When the strike is in the school, the child is back home. And you've paid school fees, and yet when the term is ending, they will not say that the child never attended classes for these 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You still have to pay that fee. You see?
Yes.
So I think we need a dialogue where we can all come to a long-term solution. We don't need to strike and go to the streets.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I could ask Chairman Jasper to tell us, you know, what sort of strategy as a parents association you're put in place. I don't know whether you have a strategic plan, but I'm sure you have a strategy. How are you planning to engage the various stakeholders to actually forestall, you know, some of these, almost like they have become like routine, you know, routines. So tell us.
We are trying to see how we can be able to work as mediators.
Okay.
To ensure that we bring on board the teachers' unions, we bring on board the Ministry of Education, we bring on board the TSC, so that we come to a round table discussion among other key stakeholders. We need also to have the Minister of Finance being there. We also require to have the Salary and Remuneration Commission, so that we sit around that table, we look at issues that are actually emerging, so that we do not actually wait, we do a CPA and we forget. This CPA is not actually a document on paper. Actually, the teachers, when they do it because they want to see those things being implemented.
Okay.
Let's also implement them in accordance with what we're actually experiencing in the country right now. So that at the same time, these parents, I actually even said, the teachers are also parents. But the question is, because the parent cannot negotiate, it does not have a CPA with TSC, it does not have a CPA with the ministry, it does not have a CPA with the teachers. So it cannot strike.
Okay, yeah, the parents
so
cannot
when
go
it
and
cannot
strike,
is actually left at the center. Our students our kids are actually like a ping pong, pushed from here to there in the event, in the manner that everybody's saying that we're actually talking about the learner. But this learner, who is really listening to this learner? So we have to have a very serious conversation, and our leadership, and I'm actually urging all the PA chairs in various counties to come out strong. We need to come and actually have that conversation, and we were pushing it higher so that the national office can be able to come and hold these people accountable. We sit down and have something that is going to be working, so that we do not have that continuous CPA that the government agrees on, but they cannot be able to implement.
Okay.
We need to ensure that we're actually working at a level that even our learners who does not get the education, they must have a voice to demand to be given their rightful position, rightful teaching, so that they can be able to achieve. We do not want actually to have people who are actually finishing walipitia shule. We want them actually to really go to school and have a really education. So as an association, we are actually having that conversation, and we want to take it a notch higher, so that all those associations, among others, we even need to bring on KICD to talk about this curriculum. We need to bring the heads associations for both for primary and secondary, so that we do not actually have this. And like now, the chairs teachers are actually left in the middle.
Yeah. By the way,
they do not know whether they belong to NAT. They do not know whether they belong to COPET. So they are just at the middle.
Yeah.
And we also have very many associations. We have COPET, we have NAT, we have KEWATA, that is for women. We have KUSNET, that is for Kenya Union for Special Needs Education Teachers. So those are all associations that are actually geared into fighting for the teacher. For the heads, we have the Kenya Primary Schools Heads Association. We have the Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association. We have the Kenya Special Needs Education Heads Association. All those are actually talking about this single person, the teacher.
Okay.
But the learner, whose voice is actually never heard beyond the classroom.
Wow. That's a very serious charge. As you say, the learner is actually kind of caught in between the rock and the hard place. And so that's why you felt that the National Parents Association, your aim is to make sure that you don't forget the learner in that whole conversation. Because those are our, they are your children. They are our children.
Yes.
Let me put myself there. And clearly there is a real challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe do you think there are other actors that could come into this mix? I want to throw in the church. I don't know how much the church can do about this education, but there are Christian schools as well. So perhaps there is also a scope for them to get involved. Now, maybe we might not have an answer for the church involvement, but let's really, again, going back to the issue, Bwana Mochoche, is there a way that teachers, can organize themselves, that while they are negotiating, there is a kind of a clause, a provision for learners? Is there a possibility? What do you think is missing in this whole network of stakeholders? Perhaps even though you have a teachers association, but there is something still missing from where you sit, because you've been in the associations, in the unions. You have served in the union. You have been a teacher both at high school and in college, and now you're on this other side. You're retired and you are with the Parents Association. Is there maybe a stakeholder we are not bringing into this?
Actually, we have involved almost all the stakeholders. The missing gap, I think when I went to school, those years of 70s and the early 80s, there were minimum stories about strike.
Okay.
I remember I even finished Form 4 without hearing about the strike.
Okay.
I even went to the colleges, I did not hear about strike until much later, when teachers were so annoyed because they were seeing people getting increment in salaries and they are being left.
Okay, okay.
What I can suggest is that as much as we could want to get more stakeholders for the teachers to look at the welfare of a child, you know, in strikes, teachers use a kind of a shield of the student.
Okay.
So that he can be able to reap the what they negotiated and is not forthcoming.
Okay.
So the idea is not very possible, but leadership, as I mentioned earlier, is the most possible way of dealing with this, so that we save parents, including me as a parent, of these kind of situations that come and antagonize the children who have gone to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Madam Lillian, let's talk about the Gen Z project. And I'm bringing that because I know that Gen Z protest reshaped the nation.
Yes.
How did that affect your union, the National Parents Association? And because maybe you are also responsible for sending your sons and daughters to the protests and stuff like that. What's the conversation going on within the association?
Actually, it was a wake-up call.
Okay.
I myself, I feel proud because there are some I mentored, and they spoke. Their voice was heard. And when their voices were not being heard, they decided to take action in their hands, where they went to town to protest. It was a peaceful one.
Right.
Because they kept saying, we come in peace, you know?
Yes.
And I'm happy because even they refused that physical meeting, even with the president himself, because they had to see what they have demanded, and whatever they had put down has to be met first.
Okay.
Before they could sit down on a round table and see the way forward.
Okay.
And for me, that one is a good stand. Not like us before, unaenda unarudi shingo upande, and you are not happy with the results. But you see, these ones, they had to stand firm for what they believe in and for the rights. So for me, I was proud of them.
Okay.
It was a wake-up call.
Right.
And what I can say, it has taught us a lot. And it has even encouraged, empowered our young ones to speak out.
Okay, okay.
You see, and this is something that is really coming out. A child can now express themselves. Although these are the younger ones, they call them the Gen Alpha. And yet these ones are the Gen Z, who have been through it all, who are going through the hardships that we are going through. And yet they went through school. And these jobs that are coming out, they cannot get. They had to voice it out. And for me, if we can continue having such a generation, Kenya will be a different country altogether, because Kenya was really respected for the youth coming out, which has never happened in any African country.
Okay.
You see? And for me, it made Kenya to have a good name, where we know our rights, where the children know what they want, what they want. And you know what also really made me happy is the parents blessed them to go ahead.
Okay.
To voice
their
needs, which was a good thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Maybe we are wrapping up. We're wrapping up. Whether maybe the question is the parent association. Of course, some people might question and say, no, the parents association is just parents, and they are, if only they would let other stakeholders within the association itself, perhaps it might be helpful. And I'm just asking, as we wrap this up, you've done amazing work. You have a vision. Perhaps we can talk about, as we wrap this up, what do you want to see happening in the next maybe 1 or 2 years within the association, and some of the key issues really you want to make sure that you accomplish as an association?
An association, we do not want to be beggars. And I say we do not want to be beggars because we are actually told that we do not need to get any funding from our members.
Okay.
We are actually only leaders of an association. The association is all the parents who have kids both in primary and secondary schools.
Okay.
So we could like to see a situation where, a time where our parents can be able to get to fund their functions.
All right.
The way we do support functions in doing the infrastructure, in paying the POM teachers.
Okay.
We also want to see a situation where we can get funding from our members. The NATs, they are very strong. Coupe, they are very strong because they get funding from their members who are their teachers.
Okay.
But with us, we are an association which is actually anchored in the Basic Education Act 2013.
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot get even a single cent to support our programs and our projects.
Okay.
So I'm having a dream where, and I want to see where a situation where this association can facilitate its own functions, can be able to work ahead and ensure that we are implementing so many things. We need to work with other stakeholders. We need to look at the Ministry of Information and Technology, ICT.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to see that how we're going to implement the ICT program, digital programs in our schools.
Okay.
That is our big current call, that we need to move from the actual books to the new system of actually having that. And having inclusive education where we need to move from the big brails and look at the new technology that is coming in. So we need to leverage that and ensure that we work on that and ensure that once we get that and we pull all these people together and we voice. And you have asked a very good question about how did Gen Z change the functionality or the thinking of NPA. We saw that we can actually have a platform where we can be able to talk about our issues, and our issues can be had quite clear, and we can be able to achieve what we want. So we are not having an association which is fighting, but we want an association that is actually going to impress every parent on board and move as a big block and change the education quality and have accessibility of our kids and implement all our six functions that we are actually given in the Basic Education Act.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. I know I'm cutting you short. You would have said more. So I think, Bwana Charles Mochoche, you wrap this up for us. What you'd like to see and your dreams for the Parents Association.
Pastor Gigi, I think my dream for the Parents Association, currently, the way you see us, we don't get any emoluments from anyone.
Yes.
This is a kind of a voluntary job.
Yes.
That we were elected when we are having our children in schools.
Yes.
And we have been trying to be the voice on the county level for our parents in the sub-counties in Nairobi. And I also want to let you know that every county, the 47 counties, they have leadership of county leadership everywhere.
Okay.
And the way our chairman has mentioned, we need to see and get forward that we should be able to get funding so that we can be able to assist the parents. When teachers come on strike also, we should be able to support them.
Okay.
So that they can be able to sort out whichever eventualities which they were supposed to have, so that our children continue with their learning.
Okay.
So without that kind of funding, so that we can train and encourage our other parents from various corners of this country, it will be difficult to have that big impact as the chairman has mentioned.
Okay, I take that. I take that. So, Madam Secretary, we will wrap up with you. If a parent wants to join the association, wants to get in touch with you guys, how do they do that? And so as you wrap and invite those parents that have been sitting on the sideline, how they can get involved. So in very, very like 30 seconds.
Okay, what we did this time when we had a workshop for them, we elected the PAs of each and every sub-county to be in charge of all the schools in that sub-county. So in case of any issue, in case of something, or maybe they want a meeting, they will always contact that PA chair who was elected as the head. And they will always know how to keep in touch with us and how we can come up with solutions to whatever issues that is there.
Yes. Now, if somebody wanted to call and reference, do you have a website? Do you have a telephone contact office?
Yes, we have contacts. We have telephone contacts. And the only challenge we have is we still don't have an office. We're still waiting to be given one. But how they can contact us is available. They always know how to contact us. Yes.
Parents know how to reach other parents, so that's that's wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. We have been talking to the officials of the National Parents Association here in Nairobi County, and these men and women, they have worked very hard to ensure that the voice of the parents are being heard. And as you have heard, yes, parents and the learners have been on the receiving end of this strike. And they have a vision too, they have a voice too. And today I think you have heard their voice, you have heard their position, you have heard about their dream and vision. And their aim is that the learners, the students, will not be neglected. They will not become victims of all these battles between the Teachers Service Commission and the teachers themselves. So that's what we had for you today, and I want to thank the two gentlemen and Madam Lillian here for coming on the show. I truly appreciate each one of you, and please tell the national chairman I really appreciate that you are able to represent him on this show very well, and may the Lord bless you so much. So keep supporting the Parents Association. Make sure you are part of what is going on. Don't stay away. You need to be part of the action. That way you can take responsibility and hold the government to account, teachers to account, the commission to account. God bless you so much. Thank you very, very much indeed for coming for the show. God bless you. And that's all for today. We'll see you another day, same time. Keep it Elevate TV, and God bless you. And we'll see you another day. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.